How about this? What about any new technology? Is there any technology that's new that you grabbed a hold of, or one that you've already been using that now you're using more of? Any change in the technology end there? Any product? I mean, obviously we're all doing Zoom a lot more, but I'm just trying to find out what pluses you got out of the situation.
Ours is that AI system, Lisa. She answers all of our guest cards 24/7, so nobody ever misses anything. And you know, as you know, when you get 3, 4, 5,000 a month or whatever, you can't physically get to all those, even though the managers say they do, but they really don't. So to me, with just implementing that a couple months ago has been huge for us. The money is well worth it.
Mm-hmm. And what was the name of that?
It's called Lisa. She is the AI enabled program through Appfolio. Okay.
Yep. All right, great. Hey, getting back a second to relationships. I touched real quickly on the owner, how most of you did get, it seems like most of you did get in touch with your owners. There's been, from what I observed, there's been a huge move towards a property manager trying to do everything electronically, have no contact whatsoever with the tenant, no contact with the owner. There seems to be like the holy grail is to be able to sit on the beach and have your office run automatically with you not being needed at all. But one thing that I've noticed is that relationships are almost non-existent. And when relationships are non-existent, that makes you, something could come along and grab your owners away from you if there's no relationship. Let's kind of go down the line. Tell me how you feel. Are relationships important to you, or are you more about providing that on-time email and the technology? Like, where do you bring in relationships in your business, and how important is it to you? Do you know what I'm talking about in terms of the way you'll see a lot of the younger property managers? It's everything is to be done with no contact with anyone. They're a number, but it's all in a sort of a tech fashion. Do any of you do something about relationships that's maybe old school or different? Kim, I got you up on the screen right now. Let me grab you.
Over the last 2 years, we added in a sales company, and we were reluctant to at first because we've always only done property management. But I will tell you, it has helped us immensely because that relationship with the owner has become even stronger. We're at the front end of it, helping them make a decision on what to buy, what cap rate they're going to get, how much cash flow. We manage it. We do the rehab. We dispose of the asset. We give them reports on how their property is doing every year. So I feel like that has brought us closer, and we do call and talk to them. We don't just send everything. And yes, I know everybody wants to text and do all that. And it's like, sometimes I tell my team, I'm like, hey, did you pick up the phone? It works. And so that's probably our biggest thing that we did that has helped us immensely.
Mm-hmm. How about you, Liz? What do you value relationships over technology, or where do you bring in the actual human relationship, if any?
Those of you that know me know I love to talk to people. I'm very people oriented. When it comes to owners, I do pick up the phone almost 90% of the time. They get their automated monthly statements and they get their processes that we do. But if something's going on, I'm going to call them and have that personal conversation with them. On the tenant side, nowadays we are renting to a lot of tenants without even meeting them, which is a little crazy, but we have a few processes in place for that. For instance, we send them brownies within the first 2 weeks they're there, kind of make them feel warm and welcome and have them take care of the property a little bit more as we're training them on our processes and what they need to do throughout their tenancy. So we try and build those relationships on both ends.
How about you, Tia?
So, I think that there's a line where the two cross. I think you absolutely have to have relationships with your homeowners, but I can use technology to build that relationship and to make it stronger. So the communication, the texting, and things like that. We recently switched from Rently to ShowMojo, and I liked a lot of the back end on that. it allowed me to create these spreadsheets that give the owner access to feedback and how many showings we've had and things like that. That technology is keeping my owners more informed. Those owners right now that have vacancies are super concerned about their vacancies. So using technology to build the trust and build a relationship with the homeowner. I think you can do both. You don't have to have one or the other.
Carrie, I think it depends a little bit on the recipient as well. In our tenant world, they tend to be all over the board as far as age group. And they're, you know, the people maybe under 40 or whatever age group it is, they don't like to talk on the phone, but they're really responsive via text. So to them, that's building a relationship. Whereas you get a 65-year-old investor likes to talk on the phone, and that's how they relate. So we kind of pick and choose what is our recipient going to respond to the best. You know, granted, there's going to be situations where we're going to need to chat on the phone and follow up with an email just because of the nature of the business that we're in. But, you know, we use our software platform to text to tenants and email them and follow up. And tenants seem to be more responsive, what I've found in that electronic communication than the voice communication.
Hmm.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I'll say the only thing that I would say is it was interesting. This, like I mentioned, kind of the whole COVID thing at the beginning. I was sending videos out for me, so you know, people, you know, they know that the head of the company is putting something out there, and that made kind of this personal relationship very impactful. And I spoke about just not the rental side, but I also spoke about the sales side. So kind of to Kim's point, being able to be that one stop for everybody and just know that we've got your back here. It is really, I mean, I can't tell you how many emails I've got that people have just said, hey, I really appreciate you taking the time to do this. And I mean, you know, different platforms, I mean, they open up more in BombBomb than they do if I send through our normal software system. They just do. And I don't know if it's that little 3-second thing at the beginning where you're moving. But so it's a little bit of technology, it's a little bit of video, but it's also just being that resource for everybody.
Mm-hmm. Do all of you use a texting program where through your computer where you're texting your owners or your tenants at this point? Or are some of you resisting text and only doing email? Would it be a consensus that everyone's texting?
Mm-hmm. Through the software program, not
right.
Then.
Right. It's, you know, it's amazing how many people don't know about those programs, and they all think that, oh, in order to text, you're going to have to do it through their smartphone, and it's going to be a disaster.
We actually use Harry on texting. We have a voice over IP system. It's a Vonage system, and all of our people have it on the app on their phones, and they can text through there as well. And that can be recorded as far as conversations. We know what has taken place, and we can gather that information if necessary. So we use that as well, not just our software platform.
Mm-hmm.